But it was a long time coming putting this car together. We did a complete restoration on it. It was off the frame. We had all of the restoration of the chassis and adding the suspension parts and building the turbo system and the air-to-air intercooler and the fuel system and all that nonsense. And the big payoff was driving this car, because it drives fantastic. And one of the coolest things about it is, at first glance, again, the paint job is pretty bright. In the sunlight, it sparkles like crazy. But you don't think there's much going on. It looks like basically a stock 442 until you start to drive this car. You turn the key and it idles. Sounds like it could be a 455 Oldsmobile. It's not real radical, because the camshaft from Comp Cams is designed to build a lot of cylinder pressure, so it's not real super lopey. The TKO 600 transmission smoothly engages into gears. You know, you've got the 5-speed at the hand. It's got a hydraulic clutch, so that's nice and easy to work. The power steering is nice. The Global S suspension is real comfortable. It's got good shocks. But when you get this thing warmed up and you drive this car a little bit and start to lean on it and build some boost, holy cats, it's a totally different story. From the day we designed the turbo system on this car, people were giving us a hard time, saying it would never make boost because the turbo is so far away from the exhaust manifolds. You got the exhaust manifolds, which feed a crossover pipe. It goes back towards the windshield, turns around, goes forward, into the turbo, spins the turbo, and then the exhaust goes out. So yeah, that's a long way to go. But the benefit is that we've got 422 cubic inches that make a ton of power on its own. So this car leaves the line on all motor. But when it starts spooling up, you hold it in gear, get it loaded up, bring it past 3,000 RPM, you watch that boost gauge climb. And we had the wastegate set at about 14, 15 pounds, which is a good amount for a big V8 street car. It's not 30 or 40 like you see in a race car, but my gosh, when that boost kicked in, this thing just comes alive. We had an experience driving this car as we were testing and tuning it, where we actually broke the tires loose about 73 miles an hour. And we data logged it with the XFI system, and you could see that the RPM spike happened at that speed. It was crazy. But at the same time, because it is a big V8 and the turbo's not spooling all the time, if you just drive around casually, you might not ever need to get into boost, and it's just a happy car. You know, it's not temperamental, it's not jerky, it's not unpredictable, but find an open road, start around third gear and lay into it, and you better be holding on. It is something else. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have time to run this thing on a dyno to actually measure how much power it made, but consider this. After doing a handful of boosted runs and getting the tune-up figured out, we data logged that the volumetric efficiency of this engine under 15 pounds of boost was at like 225%. And that means that this 422 cubic engine felt more like closer to 900 cubic inches. And when I tell you it broke the tires loose at 75 miles an hour, that's the result of the turbo and all the power this thing makes. I mean, I would think 850, something like that, is probably entirely realistic for how this thing performed. When this car came past you, it sounded like a low-flying jet. I mean, it was really, really off the hook. But again, pull it out of gear, let the boost drop off, big bear brakes, tubular Global S suspension, completely controllable car, super comfortable. It was even quiet inside. Our experience with this car was going to culminate at the SEMA trade show in Las Vegas. The car was to be on display at the MagnaFlow booth. So we brought the car out to Las Vegas, had the car on display out there. The crowds really seemed to like it, and it caught the eye of the editors at Popular Hot Rodding magazine, which was super cool. So after the SEMA show, those guys invited the car to be in a cover shoot for the upcoming issue of Popular Hot Rodding magazine. So they roped together 4 cars, a Chrysler, a Mustang, a Camaro, and of course this Cutlass. So they had kind of a nice cross-section of modern street machines from the SEMA show, and we went into the parking lot where the drift track normally is throughout the week, and photographer Wes Allison and magazine editor John Hunkins spent some time making this photo shoot happen. And lo and behold, the car ended up on the cover of Popular Hot Rodding magazine, and it had a feature inside as well. We were super pleased with the public response to this car, the fact that it got some awesome magazine coverage, but again, the best part about this car was the way it drove. You can check out our website at vatvshow.com and you'll find the photo galleries where we have every photo from start to finish of building this car, plus all the videos, and we've got a forum page where you can get more questions answered that you might have about this awesome car. So as you can see, we all really enjoyed building and driving this car, and if you've got a muscle car that you'd like to see restored or modified or turned into something like this, you can contact us at v8speedshop.com. Fill out the form on the website, and maybe we can build your next car.